After his wife's death, Elliot is left to care for his daughter, Ridley, alone. A weekend at the countryside estate of an aging oligarch, Odell, could be a crucial step towards securing her a worry-free future. Odell is being consumed by cancer and is searching for someone he can trust with his family's wealth. But first, he wants to get to know Elliot and Ridley in an informal setting. However, their weekend plans take an unexpected turn when Elliot hits a real-life unicorn on the way there. As it turns out, the blood and horn of this magical creature can cure any illness. Once healed, Odell, along with his shallow wife, Belinda, and selfish son, Shepard, begin scheming to exploit this sudden goldmine. But the unicorn's kin soon come looking for its body, and they're far from friendly. How about this paradox? Unicorns, symbols of all things pure, bright, and noble, turn out to be not so harmless after all. Humor often stems from paradox, and horror thrives on it too, relying on encounters with the inexplicable and uncanny. This might make comedy and horror seem like a match made in heaven, and cinema history does offer successful examples of this synergy. But in reality, blending the two is riddled with pitfalls, seemingly minor missteps that can ruin an entire film, like a single out-of-tune instrument spoiling an orchestra's performance. Death of a Unicorn is a producer's project, but not in the traditional sense. On paper, it's an auteur film, written and directed by the same person, Alex Scharfman, for indie studio A24, known for its love of unconventional cinema. But Scharfman isn't a writer or director by trade, he's a producer, with a resume that includes a dozen-plus feature-length dramas and thrillers, as well as a comedy web series about a homophobic lesbian. Of all his projects, Death of a Unicorn is arguably the most mainstream friendly, but Scharfman doesn't settle for a simple mashup of black comedy and horror. Instead, he leans into trendy satire, which ends up stealing the spotlight. Capitalism and privileged white elites are easy satirical targets, especially if, unlike The White Lotus, you're not interested in nuance or introspection, and instead crank stereotypes to the extreme, as Death of a Unicorn does. Odell, Belinda, and Shepard aren't fleshed-out characters, but walking cliches, defined entirely by their flaws: greed, lack of empathy, snobbery, selfishness. They're impossible to empathize with or even perceive as real people. Yet the film's biggest, most tragic paradox is that they are the protagonists. Elliot and Ridley barely drive the plot. They just react to the chaos around them. Another more intentional paradox in Death of a Unicorn is Scharfman's blend of family-friendly content with horror violence. Most of the victims are unsympathetic characters, but word has spread that audiences weren't too pleased with the death of one minor character, seen by many as undeserved, which raises uncomfortable questions. So, as long as the film was just skewering evil rich folks, impaling them on horns, tearing them apart, spilling their guts, everyone was on board and cheering? Either way, Death of a Unicorn isn't just flawed for its dubious social commentary and tired satire. Merging horror and comedy is even harder than crafting truly terrifying horror, and Scharfman essentially delivers a Jurassic Park clone. Just swap dinosaurs for unicorns. As mindless, one-time entertainment? Questionable, but fine. As a new project from A24, the studio behind Everything Everywhere All at Once, Hereditary, and The Witch? Not fine at all.